Nikola Tesla, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And a lot of people are confused of like high vibes, low vibes. And I know I talk a lot about it, but I had this thing in my meditation that I want to bring up today that has a lot to do with the mental health. And it's kind of like a scientific, spiritual science kind of thing. Okay. So we're kind of from aliens to like a spiritual, sciencey type thing. Okay. So hear me out. We all have emotions, right? But emotions cannot be measured. Our brain, we can measure the brain, but our emotions cannot be measured. So you could be angry, but your brain waves will do a certain thing. But there is an energy, a wave, a vibrational frequency that will emit from you to all around you, right? So as soon as you're feeling, you think a thought, and the thought will turn to an emotion, and the thought and the emotion carries a vibrational frequency. So I understand why people say high vibes only, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to be around negative. But I'm going to explain something that you may go, oh shit, like this is true. When you are in a really bad mood, like something bad happened to you, you lost someone, breakup, somebody passed away, and you go into a room and you're sitting there and everybody's laughing and cracking jokes, and you're like, fuckers, they don't even know about life. And you can't be around these annoying positive people. You can't, right? You're just like, fuck, do you not know? Or if you've lived, like, I remember I used to feel like that sometimes when I was really sick. And I was really, really sick, like bad. Every muscle in my body was hurting. The blood in my body was toxic, right? So I felt really, really bad. So I'd be sitting there and I'd be, let's say, going to a gathering or being with friends, and I'd be like, just, like, I don't, you know what I mean? I'm going through something, and all these positive people, and you often hear that, these annoying positive people, right? But the same thing applies to these positive people that walk into a room where someone is negative. So if you, let's say there's a few negative people that are sad, you know, they're going through a hard time. They're having a hard day. Hi, Nizni. Hi, Naz. That's so weird. I kept saying the word Naz today. That's so funny. Anyway, weird. I was just like, ah. Anyways, so if you're in a room and if there's negative people and you walk in and you're like super positive, you're in a great mood. Let's say you have a friend group and one or two of those friends are like negative and just and they're not going through a good time in their life. And all of the rest of the friend group, there's like positive, everybody's good, we're cool, da da da. When you walk around these negative people, and let's say you're planning to go somewhere and do something and you guys want to go to a restaurant, you don't really want to go with the negative Nancy's. You don't want to be, you're like, and you're feeling this. When I was meditating recently, I saw the energy of what I just told you, of the positive and that negative. I saw the energy and I saw how to solve that. Like not solve it, but come to an agreement. Thank you, Sin. So I'm going to explain to you energy, frequency, and vibration on a different way that I usually explain it. Okay? Emotions carry energy. So if you are feeling, hi Mary, if you are feeling really low and you walk into a room where people are really high, you're going to get triggered. If you are really high and you walk into a room where people are low, you're going to get triggered. You're not going to be around the negative people, and you don't want to be around the fucking annoying positive people. But what's happening is because you're here. If I'm going to make a sound for you to make you understand. Sorry, I don't want to trigger you guys, but I'm going to kind of trigger you guys, okay? right? Not nice. Like higher. I can't even do the Mariah Carey. Imagine. You're like, what the fuck is she doing? And James, no, because you're going to record it. So it's the gradual sounds. Exactly. So if you are feeling low frequency of sadness, stress, anger, that is the sound like this. Hear that sound? Now it's going up a little more. Actually, it's perfect timing. It's all happening in perfect alignment. Okay, now it's here. So it's going up slowly. And then it goes up higher. So think of emotions connected to sounds. So the sound, the emotion that are low, see, it's going higher. And it's beautiful, right? You hear this music. Sin. Thank you, Sin. She's looking for music. Oh my God, this is funny. So imagine you have a low vibrational energy, which is sadness, anger. Hi, Tanya. Overwhelming. And you know those feelings that feel heavy, like you're very grounded with those emotions. Like you feel very heavy. And imagine that as the ohms, and you hear, so it vibrates very low. And the people who are very high frequency and very excited and very happy, and they walk into a room and they're like, oh my God. You know that, like super, super hyped up? That is really annoying to someone who's here. If you see somebody walk in just smiling, that's not annoying. That's not really annoying. If somebody walks in with a little smile on their face and they're calm and they're smile, that's okay. But if you are low and you see someone walk in like, yeah, let's go. And then you're like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. It's so annoying, right? But the same thing is up here. If they are like, let's go, yeah. Oh my God, I'm so pumped. And they walk into a room and somebody's like, it's like, God, it's negative. And I realize the reason why people hate each other so much in this, it's like no negative people. And these are like annoying positive people. The reason why is because you can't jump from here to here. You have to gradually raise your frequency. And when you're high, you have to lower your frequency to make connections. So I'm not that low. So do you understand? No negative babies, exactly. He went calm and was tilting his head. So I made another video, but I'm going to make a few more videos explaining what I just explained now. But I'm saying it to you guys kind of the way I felt it in my meditation, but I'm saying it to kind of filter out because I'm not quite sure how to make this video yet. But just think of every emotion is like a sound wave. So you cannot be in the same room when somebody is very positive and very negative, but you can be. You can. So if you find yourself very, very positive and you walk into a room and you see negative people and you're getting triggered or somebody's talking to you and you're like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, you know, this times are tough. And you're like, oh, yeah, right. Sure, let me have a drink. And it's like triggering you that this person is complaining. But if you were living the same thing that that negative person was living, you wouldn't get annoyed. You would sit there and go, oh my God, me too. Me too. You too, you're going through a break. Oh my God, me too, I'm going through a breakup. And all of a sudden you would, because you guys are both low. But if you're high and you want friendships and connections, but not everybody is high all the time and positive, and at that moment, like, for example, today, I am very high frequency. I am so hyper. I'm laughing all day. I was with my clients, like it was a good vibe. Now I got something in my eye. I got a hair, like a fluff just flew into my eye and I can't see properly. Thank you, Stay Gold. Thank you, son. So imagine what you got to do Okay, so think of it this way. High frequency, low frequency, you can meet there and you won't get triggered. You kind of do this. But the same thing with yourself, by the way. You go like this slowly, and this is the heart frequency, the love frequency. So if you're really high and you see a lot of negative people and you're getting triggered, what you can do is stop being too much high vibration. I'm not saying not later. Once you leave the people, go back to being your high vibration. It's fine. But you go back to love, which I'm going to tell you how, Naz. You go back, and it's always about love, the love frequency. Because the love frequency, you're going, like this. And this one, they can meet you there. They cannot meet you. Thank you, Sent. The love frequency. They cannot meet you up here. They're going to get triggered. But you can meet them loving. And that's not completely going into the depth of da-da-da. Because, you know, you went through that shit. You don't feel like going through that right now. So you don't have to completely lower your frequency. And the people who jump from here to there, and they're like, oh my God, I was around so many people that were negative. I'm drained. I am exhausted. I'm drained. I don't know. And you're home and then you go, oh, I got to ground myself. I got to meditate. I got to take a bath because you're so drained of the negative energy. What happened is you jumped. You jumped and you were hearing the, you know what I mean, James? You were hearing the high pitch and low, and it was triggering your brain. So think of emotions like sounds. And when you go into the love frequency, which means compassion, love is compassion. So you go down a little bit and you see, I feel like you seem upset. You seem okay. Are you okay? Do you want to talk? And then the person's like, nah, 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 nah. And then you come out of compassion. You don't have to go down, but now it's not so contrasting for you. It's not so triggering. It's not like, I can't be around negative people. No, you're just bringing yourself down to the love vibration, the compassion. And think of it like the Om. The Om, Om, Om. Like there's way more than 3, but think of it like that. You got the low frequency, the very high, and we cannot always live on high frequency. Imagine all day long being like, yeah, oh, frig, I'd get a headache. I would get a headache. Just like I used to get headaches, I was very, very low all the time. I used to live with depression. So I didn't have the high frequencies. I was like really low and I got headaches. And then I'd have really good days and I would jump to high. And then, you know, when you are so low, now I'm going to give you another example. You know, when you feel like shit for a few days and then you feel better and you clean your whole fucking house and you call all your friends and you go shopping and you go out and you do everything that you haven't done in the few days, because for those few days you were so crappy that you did nothing. And then now you do everything. So a lot of people do this. They jump from high frequency, and then what happens? What happens after the day or two of doing everything, getting everything done? You're like, I feel productive. Yes, I'm good. We're good. I'm not procrastinating anymore. I'm doing good. Yeah. And then the next day you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm busted. What the fuck? Why am I, oh, my back, oh, my neck. It's because you're like drained because you went, again with the sounds. You went very low to very high to very low. The key is gradual. The key is just to softly go up. My neck, my back. That's something James would say. Right, Cece? So in the end, what you have to do, like I told you guys, when you're in a very low vibration and you're stressed and you have anxiety, and you're overthinking everything and you're just overwhelmed, bring yourself to the love frequency. Okay? TikTok allows cursing now. I've been cursing on my lives since I started. So I've never got banned on the live so far, except when I talk about aliens, I get banned. Anyways, so I go, so if you're on a very low frequency, if you're stressed, hi Kelsa. If you're stressed, you have any sort of like overwhelmed feeling, go to the compassion for you. Now forget other people for a minute. Do it for yourself. So how to raise your frequency is very low and you raise it and you go to compassion. Don't, when you're in a bad mood, don't try to start laughing and doing all this stuff. You're not going to make it. You're going to crash the next day. And I see so many people online with this. I don't know what's going on in my newsfeed. I think because I say it on my lives, there are so many people. They're like, I'm living the dark night of the soul. I was in the darkness. Now I'm in the light. Yeah, because you're going, it's too much. And then you're really high, right? You're really high for a long time. You're rolling, you're good. And then all of a sudden, something happens in your outside world or even in your inside world, and you start going back to the same thought patterns and the same things, and you start going, and then you go, bam, and you drop to low, really low, and you're like, oh. So you were like, ee, and then bam, and you're like, oh my God. And I'm telling you, you know, is it Travis Scott that had that concert where people were getting triggered with his music? It's Travis Scott, right? I don't know how I remember this name. I don't even know. It just popped in my head. Okay, so if you listen to his music, it's very triggering for people. And it's frequencies that go very high, very low, very high, very low. And people's brains start like, it's the frequencies affect our body. They almost make us sick. So when you walk into a room and there is negative people and you're in a really good, like maybe you're not super high, but you're kind of like, yeah, I'm good. Like I'm feeling really good. And you walk into a room and there's like negative people or people that are feeling low vibration. It's not because they're assholes or because you're better than them, because they're on, no, every vibration matters. Every frequency is important. Every vibration. Nikola Tesla, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, knowing that all vibrational frequencies are important. Not one of them is good and one of them is bad. Think of a battery. Positive side, good. Negative side, bad. No, only do the positive of the battery. No. When you put in the battery, if one side doesn't work, the battery doesn't work. The negative doesn't mean bad. Positive doesn't mean good. That's the problem with society. We think that high frequency means good, low frequency means bad. No, low frequency means low. High frequency means high. And it's okay to do both, but you have to gradually get there. Gradually. And you have to go back to the compassion. When you live here, so this is where I live. Every single day, I live with the vibration of love. I walk around and I have the love frequency and I feel grateful for myself. And I've had other realizations this week because I've been really focusing on my heart even more. And coincidentally, I'm wearing a little heart today, which is funny. So I've been really focusing on the energy of my heart. So when somebody is really negative around me, I sit with them and I have compassion. I don't go down and go, oh yeah, me too. Yeah. And I don't get into the draining the low that they are, but I'm low enough that they can meet me there. And you'll notice that people who are on a low frequency, when you meet them with compassion and love, they will meet you. They can be stressed and anxious. And you walk in and you're like, be positive. Forget it. You're going to be fine. And you're like, fuck you, positive jackass. And you're like, oh my God, you're so negative. Right? That's my little scenario. Did you see that? My daughter used to call this crank it. Side note, when she was like 3 years old, she's like, crank it. I used to do like, hello. And she was like, oh my God, it's crank it. So these are two crank its. Side note, not even important, totally off topic. Okay, back to what I was saying. So you have this, but if you come down to the love frequency and you say, how are you feeling? It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be angry. I'm here for you. This person is not going to be so low. This person's going to go, thank you. Stupid. So as you can see, I'm very like, today. I was like super high, jokey. I'm like, I know all this, but you explain it the way my brain can comprehend. That's the point. I do my Tanya explanation. My Tanya explanation. So that's all it is meet each other. We have to meet each other. If you want relationships to work in your life, we have to meet each other with compassion and not say, it's going to be fine. Get over it. Stop complaining. And then some people, okay, think of it the opposite way. Now you have some people that are really low, and then these people will come at compassion, and it's okay to feel. And these people stay low. And they're like, oh my God, life hates me. I'm never going to do, the world is going to shit, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, and it's still hard. And they're really low. So they're not only low, they're like, you can't even see how low they are. Their frequency is so low that you're like, oh, what can I do? And at this point, all you can do is love. I wouldn't suggest going down extremely low, but you can if you want. And that takes practice. Okay? It takes practice to meet them low and help them. It's like, imagine somebody is in the depths of hell right now and not doing well. That's why sometimes you need a trained professional that will come and hold your hand and bring you up to the love, compassion. Because some people don't know, they cannot raise their frequency. They cannot go up to the love. And that's why instead of saying, shut up, you're so annoying, blah, 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 blah. And even if you're trying to meet them with compassion, it's not working because they're really depressed and they're stuck so low that they're just like Now remember, when you walk around, it's like, think of the way you walk is a frequency. And it's not that you attract the same it's not that. I realized that. We were like, people are like, well, the same frequencies will match each other. Why am I attracting toxic people if I'm on a low frequency? And how come I'm always attracting toxic people if I'm always like on a high frequency, or I'm always on the love frequency and I still attract toxic people? That's not what it is that if you vibe really low, you're going to connect more with people that vibe low. It's very normal to do that. And even if you're in the compassion and love, you're going to connect and vibrate. And sometimes even if you're really, really low, you may connect a little bit when somebody comes lower. So it's not what you attract, it's what you allow. What are you allowing in your life? So we have to stop asking ourselves, like, why am I attracting toxic people? Why am I that? It's what am I allowing on my day-to-day basis? Thank you, James. You're talking about things I'm learning in school. Really? So can I say how crazy it is? My daughter, school is different. Is different these days. I love that it's a tiny Dean. Here, look, guys. Here. Sorry, I just want to let you know that he's here. Squishy Bob is here. Just side note for those of you who were wondering. He's right there. It's the little guy. For those of you who don't know, this is our mascot, Squishy Bob. And he has a little... This was homemade by the dryer. I thought you meant a spirit was here. Maybe there's a spirit in Squishy Bob. Hi, Squishy. He's so squishy. He is. It's a mullet. New merch. Squishy Bob. I'm gonna take a picture in it. I don't think anybody would buy merch with Squishy Bob though, in all honesty. Like, it's fun to do like new merch, but in the end, really? A Squishy Bob merch. Yeah, so only the OGs would buy the Squishy Bob merch. But it's weird. You're walking around with a little... People are like, what the hell is on your shirt? What is that? You're like, it's Squishy Bob. It has its own spirit. How do you change your energy when you feel low and are struggling? Okay, so Mimi, I think you might have just joined us because I was just saying all that, but I could repeat a little bit. If you are very low, if you are very low, the way to raise your frequency, you cannot jump to high and just switch off your vibe. You can't do that. You have to slow. No, don't apologize, Mimi. That's okay. So what you have to do is slowly raise your frequency to compassion. If you are very low, show yourself compassion. And that's how you feel a little better. And you too can have your very own squishy pop. You know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna upload, I haven't done that in a pretty long time. I'm gonna upload this live on YouTube. So for anybody who missed my, I don't know, actually now that I think about it, I'm kind of worried because I'm like, eat. But whatever, whatever. You guys can make fun. If somebody makes a clip out of that and makes fun of me, it is what it is. It's fine. I can take it. I think I need to go no contact with my mom. Is stressing me out. I know Blue Frito. Boundaries are, have you read that book, by the way? Where is it? I thought I just had it. Set Boundaries, Find Peace. If you have a problem with going like no contact and you're hesitating and you're like, what's going on? What is happening here? Anyway, sorry. If you're having a problem with that, then check that book out. Sorry. And my roots are growing out, guys. Speaking of. By the way, side note, I always talk about my inner beauty, which I want to say something after. Remind me gratitude. Shower gratitude. Anyways, thank you, Willow. I do my own hair color. And once a year I go see somebody and she does this whole thing. It's somebody that I used to work with. But I color my own hair all the time. And I have to tell you, I don't think I have a hard time trusting people for hair. No, Raj did it like, I think Raj colored my hair once through COVID and it was very traumatic. The Boundary book, you could just look up, right? Willow wrote Set Boundaries, Find Peace by Nedra. It's it's the best book. It's the best boundary book that I've read. Now, what I wanted to tell you guys. I have been really focusing on my heart a lot in my meditations when I wake up in the morning, just like sitting down and I'm like, I matter. My feelings matter. And I keep bringing my energy to my heart, which sometimes it's hard. It's weird. Just you thinking about your heart beating and all that stuff. It's hard to bring your energy back here. Oh, please guys, remind me after. I'm going to tell you guys about the CE5 meditation that we're doing on Sunday. It's really important. Remind me after. Okay. My brain's like, ah. And I'm going to show you also high vibration, something I forgot about it. So when you bring your awareness to your heart all the time. So I've been feeling really low recently, like randomly. Like every day I wake up and I have a lot of inner peace. But it's kind of boring. Like every day I can be sad, something bad happens and I'm crying and then I'm okay. And then I get happy and then I'm okay. And then I get overwhelmed. Something is like sometimes I have clients and it's really intense, like the stories that I hear and everything. And I'm like, it gets to me, right? So, and then I feel the emotions and then I'm okay. And I'm just, you know, but it's boring. I realized that I was like, it's great to find inner peace, but it's kind of boring to live very neutral and just like, and I remember it was too high and too low before. Like I would go really, really high, really low. But I'm like, okay, I need to raise my frequency a little bit and lower a little bit. Like I need to do a little bit of this, a little more, just a little bit more. Not just like, just, you know what I mean? Not like this and like this, just a little more because it's getting a little too much. I know I used to be addicted to negative emotions, automatic, my brain. And it's not that you're not addicted to negative emotions. You're addicted to negative thoughts that create the emotion. Remember that. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm addicted to those emotions. Yes, but there's always a thought right before the emotion. Now, there are some emotions that are immediate, like the fight or flight. 100% fight or flight response. It's like if I were to throw a baseball or a huge ball at your face, Cue James. No, if I were to throw something right in your face, you would go like, whoa. So either you're going to push the ball away or it hits your face, you're like, ow. I just keep thinking of James. It's totally going to jump on this, right? So if that happens, that's a normal reaction, right? Normal reaction. But if you're feeling like, if you're just having a regular day and all of a sudden you start feeling negative emotions, is because there was a thought right before the negative emotion that you're addicted to. Because your thought pattern, let's say like you have these neural network, and your little brain, your neural network was like goes back to the stupid thought that makes you feel shitty. I told someone that comes to my work that I have a crush and now I want to flight. Oh, I get that. I get that. But you're making yourself vulnerable. It's normal to feel like, listen, especially if you're vulnerable and it's not well received, then sometimes you feel like embarrassed, which is the flight. You're like, oh shit, I want to get out. Embarrassment is usually the flight response of like, I need to get the hell out, right? And anger is usually the fight response. So, I have so many things I want to say all at once. It's like throwing me off. What was I going to say? Fight, flight, addicted to emotions. I don't remember what I was going to say. Let me take a break. Right in the middle of my sentence. I don't remember what I was saying before I think I was finished my train of thought. Okay, so how do we remove the negative thoughts? So you cannot remove negative thoughts. If I tell you right now, Squishy Bob, take a look, take a really good look at Squishy Bob. Now don't think about Squishy Bob. Don't think about him. Do you know what I mean? You see where I'm going with this? Think about a big elephant in the room, like big elephant. Okay, no, yellow car, all you see is yellow cars. If you're like, yellow car, don't think of yellow car, don't think of yellow car, don't think of yellow car. You're gonna think of a yellow car. If you're skiing, okay, what I was thinking is that we went, not skiing, we went sledding down in the middle of the forest, and I was sliding with my little sled. I'm not thinking about don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree. I'm thinking about stay on the path. Like follow the path, follow the path. So it's not about stopping the thoughts, it's about changing your thoughts. Like redirecting the thought. So you keep thinking the negative thought is don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree, and you keep fucking hitting the tree. Don't think about Squishy Bob, and you keep thinking about Squishy Bob. So you have to ask yourself, write down all your negative thoughts, and what would you like to replace it with? Write a list of everything you want to replace it with. And then when you find yourself spiraling into the negative thought that doesn't make you feel good, number one, always validate. Don't redirect right away. This is the problem, is a lot of people, they're like, I need to change my thoughts. And they redirect, and all you're doing is taking your feelings and you're going, I'm going to suppress them down right into my toes. And all of a sudden you have knee problems. And you have leg problems and lower back pain. Why do I have lower back pain and knee pain, knee cramps and feet? Why am I so tired? It's because you literally take all your negative thoughts and all the old thoughts and you're like, I'm going to push them down. I'm going to suppress them and not feel them today. Or you could do, as I said at the beginning of this video, is have compassion. Validate yourself. I'm allowed to feel. My feelings matter. I matter. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to not be okay. And that's what you do. And then You think, what's the new thought that I want to have? What's the new thought I want to create? And you write down the new thought. You write that down and you start practicing it. And the more you focus on your heart, which is what I was going to say before, the shower gratitude thing. I've always did the love frequency and everything, but recently I went heavy duty, like love. Like I kept trying to radiate love from my heart, because I oftentimes do third eye meditations. I bring all my energy, which relates, by the way, to the CE5 meditation that we're doing on Sunday. You want to activate your third eye? It's going to be wild. I've been doing it a lot. A few weeks ago, I was doing it like excessively, activating my third eye. I saw so many things in my brain. It was insane, like in the brain, not in my eyes. Like I just saw, and it just was like, and it was pulsating. So I'm going to be doing that before the CE5, and I'm going to address the fears that people have over meditating and you know, spirits and extraterrestrials and stuff like that. Like we're going to kind of focus on that on Sunday. If you want, I put the event on TikTok. So if you go look at my events, you'll find it. This Sunday, what day is this today? I don't even know what day. Hold on. January. Yes. Sunday coming up. Okay. Sunday, February 5th. Thank you. Well, so I put the events. I'm going to be doing, like, we're going to be doing that. But I've been meditating on my heart. And that is so much more powerful, because this, yeah, it's great. You can see things and you raise your frequency, all that stuff. But when you focus on your heart, I have been feeling kind of off these days. And I have to tell you the truth. This is my vulnerable side. I have been comparing myself so much online, which I tell you guys not to do. I make videos about, don't compare yourself. But I'm going to be honest, the videos that I make are for me. By the way, I'm speaking to myself. When I make a video, I'm like, don't compare yourself. And then insert Tanya. I'm saying it to myself, because I'll go online and I'm start comparing myself. I start analyzing myself. I start getting all into my head and saying, why the fuck am I not where I want to be? And then a part of me is like, oh, you gotta be grateful. I'm like, okay, I'm grateful, but dude, like, and then I don't hate on other people. I know I can understand why some people hate others that are doing really well. I don't hate on them. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you, but I want some of that. You know, like I kind of go, fuck, what is happening? Like I have these goals that I haven't reached. And I'm like, and then the next day I wake up and I'm like, I'm good. I feel good. You know what? This is great. I'm grateful. I am having a good day. I'm going to live in the present moment. I'm going to listen to the sounds around me. I take a walk. I go out in nature and I'm like, I'm good. And then the next day I wake up and I'm like, and I get this, like, why am I not there? Why? Like okay. So here's what happened, and I'm about to change your whole fucking life, okay? I'm about to change your whole life. So I'm doing these meditations with, you're speaking my thoughts. So a lot of you guys are resonating with this, right? We're comparing ourselves. Now, you're going to do this. I swear to God, it's gone. I don't feel like that anymore. It is completely gone out of my brain, and it feels amazing, okay? Listen to this. So what is it? When someone else has something good, it doesn't take away from me. I'm also happy for them. Yes, 100% same. So you're not it's not like jealousy. It's none of that. I don't have jealous emotions and hating none of that. I am so happy when I see somebody doing really well. I'm like, oh my God, you deserve it. Good for fucking you. Like, you know, the universe is abundant. We can all do well. But how the fuck am I not doing well? Why am I not fucking doing, like, what? Dude, come on. Just something. Universe, give me something. And then the universe gives me a little something and I'm like, oh, it's great, it's happening. And then it's not really. And then it's not. And then, so I've been feeling a lot of that, like, for a few months of, like, off and on. And I'm like, why the fuck do I feel like this? It's annoying. So I did the heart meditation. And a few days ago, I'm in the shower and I said, you know what? It's because you're not a narcissist. Is that supposed to be a compliment? I guess. Thanks. So I go into the shower and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a quantum leap in the shower. So I don't know if some of you guys know what the quantum leap is. It's kind of like, it could be totally hoopla, weirdo craziness, okay? But it makes me feel better. So whether it's true and I'm actually doing it, or I'm just imagining some weird fluff stuff in my brain, doesn't even matter. Whatever makes you feel good, right? So I walk into the shower and I'm like, I'm going to do a quantum leap. I am in the shower and as I feel the water on me, I'm changing dimensions. Like I am entering a new frequency, a new dimension. I am like, once I get out of the shower, it's like, I'm going to enter a new reality. It's going to be a whole different reality. Very close, very similar to my other reality, but it's going to be like a new thing. I go, this is what I'm going to do. Okay. Which I do that randomly. Okay. But this time I felt it. Thank you, Laura Lee. So this time I felt it with everything. I was like, okay, I get in the shower and I feel the water on me and I'm like, I was like, I got to do this. This is what I got to do. I'm going to shift. So I'm going to go another dimension, whatever I'm doing, but this is going to be it. And I realized you don't shift dimensions. There is a part of you that shifts. I used to think like, if I go in, I'm shifting another dimension. My whole reality is going to be different. I realized that's not really what happens. Is I went into the shower and something of me shifted completely. And it was like that weight in myself of comparing myself and saying, how come this? So as soon as I get out of the shower, I'm in my robe. I got my towel on my head. I'm walking around and my friend calls me. Okay. What would Squishy Bob do? My friend calls me and I don't like to relive past. Now, this is the very important part, guys. Okay. This is the part where the healing happens. I don't like to relive my trauma because I wrote this in my book. What happens in your brain when you relive trauma, your body doesn't know the difference, whether it's living in the past or in the present. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between the past and the present. So all of a sudden you're going to start to cry because you're feeling the exact same emotions as you felt with the trauma. So I'm like, I don't like to talk about my trauma. I don't want to talk about it. But my friend's like, yeah, but I have some questions to ask you because there's something I'm going through, blah, 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 blah. So can you please be descriptive and tell me? I'm like, okay. So I started telling her all the traumas. That's what you need to do. That is going to get rid of your fucking comparing feeling. I'm not even joking. You are going to relive. Okay. That's what you do. And I realized that's what it's for. That's why we have memories. That's not the only reason we have memories, for other reasons, but there's a part. The reason you have memories is because if I were to tell you, yeah, where were you? Be grateful for you right now. You're like, yeah. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for where I'm at. I get it. I'm grateful. Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm grateful. I know. Yes. I used to have a really bad life and now I have a good life. I'm grateful, but I still want this. No. I want you to go in detail. And I went into detail and I told her a story that I've never even told you guys, that I was with an ex who I may have been narcissist, but was very toxic. I don't know if they were narcissists, but it was extremely toxic. And the reason I say narcissist is because narcissists gaslight. And he shook me one time. I was in the kitchen and he shook me and he shoved me and I smashed and I fell on the floor. And he got mad at me that I fell on the floor and told me, you slipped. What a fucking idiot. You slipped and fell. And I started thinking I was crazy. I was like, you pushed me. He's like, are you crazy? You fell, you slipped. That was you. I'm like, and I was like, didn't you take me and I started thinking I was crazy. And then I said, no, you pushed me. And he started going crazy. I didn't fucking push you. He took everything in my house and he started throwing everything in my house. And I had a kidney transplant. So I used to have this big container of like my pills and stuff that are post-transplant. He took my pills, he smashed it in the window, cracked the window. He started throwing items like forks, knives, plates, destroyed my house. So I freaked out because my daughter was playing in her room. And my daughter was maybe 2 years old, maybe about 2 years old. I run into the room. And this is why I'm telling you it's important to tell these stories. I run into the room, I slam the door shut, I take her dresser and I push it against the door, and I have my phone and I dial 911. And he starts banging on the door, banging, let me the fuck in. And he's screaming, and my daughter's screaming, I'm screaming. And as I'm telling the story, I'm not crying now, but as I was telling my friend, I started crying because I was like, holy fuck. Look where I am now. Not holy fuck, poor me. I said, holy fuck, look where I am now. That is what gets rid of comparing. When you tell a story of your past, I want you to not just tell the story and feel bad for yourself. Tell a story. Can you guys see? All my arms went like shivers. Because I feel it as I'm telling you guys. All my arm hairs are like ding, straight up. I don't know if you guys can see it. You don't understand. I was crying and crying because I felt so grateful. I was like, holy fuck. I was there and I had a kidney transplant and I would throw up every day, every morning. Every morning I was so sick. I couldn't get out of bed. I was toxic towards my daughter because I had with a toxic ex, all this shit. This is where I was. I used to yell and scream and cry and be like, ah, holy fuck. Look where I am now. And I went, oh my God, if I'm here now, fuck the future. I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, I have goals. But who fucking cares? I am way further than what I have ever wanted. I am at a level if you would have, when I'm on the door and he's trying to bang the door and the police came to my house and I was too scared of him to write a report, but they made me write a report so he has a report against him. And I was too scared to write a report. And while I'm there and I'm crying and I'm like, no. And then they had to interview my daughter and ask her a couple of questions. Is you okay? And she was crying. While I'm in that position and I see myself like right now there, if you would have told me that night, by the way, fast forward, when you're 40, you're going to be living a dream. Like your daughter is going to be doing really fucking well, like really well. You're going to have a guy that treats you don't even know. Like, you don't even know. Like, the worst thing he does is he doesn't set proper boundaries, blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't even know what's about to happen. Like, if somebody would have told me that, I would have been, fuck you, that's not true. And I realized it's comparing you to your old self instead of the people that are doing better than you. I'm repeating that. What Chisme with Mel, maybe I'm not reading that properly, but she wrote, it's a comparing your old self instead of the people doing better than you. And I have to tell you, if you are going through something right now and you are like, I want you to remember where you were at and I want you to tell a story, a very traumatic. Now, try not to tell a super traumatic, that's PTSD, but I want you to tell a traumatic story. And I remember one day I planned to go to the zoo with my daughter, which right now I wouldn't go to the zoo because I know what type of stuff happens at the zoo and all that. But back then I was like, I'm going to take my daughter to the zoo. And we planned all month to go to the zoo and take a drive. And I woke up that day so sick. And my daughter was crying and I called my mom and they ended up just going outside and playing. And then I had guilt because I was so sick. I couldn't even move. I had like a migraine. I was throwing up all day, I was going through my kidney stuff. And I remember sitting there and then my ex at the time didn't even believe that I was sick and was like all this stupid shit. And I was telling the story, like I remember the feeling of lying in bed so bad. And I'm complaining now that I'm not manifesting I'm like, what the fuck? So I realized if you go back in time, pinpoint a couple of fucked up things that happened to you, use it to your advantage. Use it for good. Use your traumas to understand where you are, even if it just happened last year. Where are you today? And I realized how fucking deep this is, because if my life, if all my manifestations and all my things that I'm working towards, because I'm writing a book, I'm like, what if my book sells like 4 copies? I'm like, oh my God. And then I go, who fucking cares? If my book sells 4 copies, which is going to be my mom, my dad, my sister, my, do you know what I mean? If my book sells 4 copies, I'm a fucking author. Who fucking cares? That's it. If I'm here, if I plateau in my life and nothing more ever happens to me, I'm fucking okay with that. Because do you know where I used to be? It is so fucked. I used to be like, I thought about that. I'm like, this is how you stop comparing yourself to others. You pinpoint this and realize where you are. Now, on a different subject, if you right now are going through shit in your life and you're like, fuck, I'm going through something right now, so this is not really where I want to be. Tanya, thank you for your inspirational TED talk, but this is not where I want to be because I'm actually going through shit right now. I lost somebody or blah, blah, blah. I want you to think, fast forward to the future. If the future you, who is fucking successful and doing well, like the future you in 2 to 5 years has their shit together and feels fucking amazing because of all the work that you've done on you and all the self-love and the affirmation, all that shit that you've been doing. And in a few years, you're there. If that you came back to you today and said, hey, by the way, you're going to be good. You're going to be fucking good. You don't even know. And then you're like, fuck you. No, I'm not. Just like if you right now went to your past and said it to your past, you wouldn't believe it. So in the end, it's like, we don't know. We just got to assume that we're going to be okay. And sometimes it's scary. Are you used to be on a dial sitting on a machine to stay alive? So I had a friend of mine got a kidney transplant. I never did dialysis because I went straight to transplant. But I have a friend of mine that was going on dialysis and just got a transplant last week. Actually, 3 days ago. 4 days ago. And transplant takes a toll. But transplant is cleaning out your blood. You got to have dialysis. If you think about it, you got to have dialysis. There's a machine that was cleaning out your blood. There's a machine that is cleaning you out. So we're like, oh yeah, but I was on dialysis. It all depends on the thought you have. If you look at yourself like, fuck, I was on dialysis, I was dying, I was struggling and everything. You were on dialysis. A machine was actually keeping you alive. You felt like shit. It was bad, but there was a machine keeping you alive and cleaning out your blood, and you were able to have that. So if you change just a little bit and you use your memories, okay? So we have memories that can cause us pain, and we have anxiety that can cause us pain for the future. Memories cause us pain of the past. Anxiety causes us pain of the future, right? How about you take your memories and you go into the past and you use it for good. And you're like, wow, this is where I was. And you have to go in detail. You can't just go, oh yeah, I've had trauma. What trauma did you have? Oh yeah, I went through shit. Like I had a crazy ex. Oh yeah, he was. You can't do that. I want you to really write it down. If you're alone, you don't have anybody to call and to talk and vent about your traumas. Yes, I do one-on-ones. It's on TanyaBeautyCoach.com. Like my name here, Tanya Beauty Coach. So if you have you don't want to call anybody and say your trauma stories, write it down, read it, and be like, or right now, be like, do you remember that time where, my ex broke up and I was like chasing him down the road, or I'm thinking of a friend of mine of like stalking my ex and I was like, wow, and you remember that? Where are you now? Do you remember that feeling? What feeling do you feel now? And you're like, holy shit. And you don't even care anymore. You don't compare. And I realized that I'm good. I'm good. So if I just stay stagnant for the rest of my life, yeah, I may get bored. And like I mentioned before, I was like, I get bored and I get like this. But I was like, I have this overwhelming, grateful feeling of, holy shit. I am way further than I thought I was going to be. Like, I didn't even reach my goals. If you would have asked me when I was sick, I thought I was just going to die. I thought I was going to have a shitty life. And I was like, oh my God. So now I'm walking around every day, like I feel like crying every day of gratitude. And I'm so hyper because I'm like, so every time that feeling comes in and steps in and goes, oh, you're going to compare yourself because, you know, like, let's say my book doesn't do so great. Let's say it doesn't. And it's hard and it's struggling in this. And I was like, okay. You wrote a book, Tanya. You wrote a fucking book. 4 people bought it? Fine. But you wrote a fucking book. You did it. Did you ever think? And I was like, yeah, I wanted to when I was young. You did it. Okay. Even if you didn't write a book, even if, let's say you were with a narcissist and now you're not, and you're struggling a little and you're not, do you remember being in the relationship with that fucked up person? Where are you now? Now you wake up and you can have coffee. You can have your tea. And you're just gonna be all good. There's nobody yelling and toxic screaming at you. Hi, Chris. Why do people get defensive every time as soon as you say something? So I made a video about that today. Sometimes when people get defensive is because we give advice that is not asked for. When people get defensive, if we talk to someone and people get defensive, there's no reason to get defensive for anything. If somebody is getting defensive, they don't like what you're saying. That's all it is. If somebody is with you, hi, miss. If somebody is getting defensive and like, right away, and if a lot of people are, if one person is, maybe they're toxic, I don't know. But if a lot of people are continuously getting defensive around you, you can point the finger and say, why are they so defensive? Or you can look at the other 3 fingers and go, what am I saying that is making people defensive? What am I doing? And I made a video today. I didn't post it yet, but I made a video about unsolicited advice. So instead you can say, would you like my opinion? Would you like my advice? And that can change your whole reality with your relationships. Like your whole reality. Would you like, that's all you got to do. Sometimes you really want to give your opinion to people. You're like, oh, but I have the answer, man. They could so benefit, right? Of course you were, Wilo. So, we're always saying matching stuff. So just remember that if you're having a hard time and people are constantly, or maybe you're critical in what you're saying, maybe you're saying something that is being taken as criticism, and you're saying something that to you is coming, you're like, but I'm coming from love. Yes, your intentions could be very loving towards someone because you want to help them and you want them to do really well and you want them to not be sick or be successful or whatever it is. You want their help. But some people are either not ready to receive it. Maybe it's not for them. Maybe they are going to take their own path, but they can be seen as judgment. So oftentimes when people get defensive, again, just try to go, would you like my opinion? And sometimes they're like, no. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, cool. Cool. And then you switch subjects. Maybe it's the delivery. That's what I mean. So how you deliver stuff and how you say things, because we cannot change how other people react, but we can change how we respond when we become aware of it. Hey, Tim, how's it going? How you been? Thank you, Brandon. All right. I feel like frig. I talked for, I'm like sweating. It's like vibrations. Energy, quantum leap showers. I feel like I'm really hyped up today, as you can see. By the way, I forgot to tell you guys. Okay, the one last thing I was going to say from before. If you are on a low vibration, like I told you before, and you want to raise your frequency a little bit, you raise it to have compassion and love for yourself. But if you're kind of there, so are any of you guys good, but something's missing? And I'm not talking about the comparing thing that I talked about before. I mean, like, something's missing. There's something. You're like, I'm just like floating. Like every time I leave a comment, the internet goes out. Oh no. Yeah. So I'm going to show, if you guys are feeling like that, I want you to try this. Okay. Now this is going to be awkward. It's going to be awkward. I'm warning you. And you're probably going to, I hope my daughter's friends are not watching this live because they're going to think I'm cringy. But yeah, this is cringy, but you're going to do this. You're going to do this. Every single one of you. Hi, Gladiator. Every single one of you has had, Chris is like, has had a friend at one point in your life that is like, come on, you know, your cheerleader friend, like a guy, girl, doesn't matter what gender it is, but somebody just like a hype person, could be a sibling, could be a parent, like somebody in your life at one point hyped you up, like totally, let's go, 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 go. Okay. You are going to be that to you. So if you are kind of like this, I want you to do this. You are going to take your camera, not now right away, but you can try it with me right now. But after, you're going to take your phone, camera phone, okay? You could put a filter on, doesn't matter. Put a filter for fun, okay? It's because I know some people are like, oh, I don't like cameras. I don't like to film myself, whatever. Then put a funny little filter, whatever you need. It doesn't matter because it's not about that. We're not doing that yet. And I want you to look at yourself and go like, to the point that you start to cough like that. Like, be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I want you to do that to yourself when you look at yourself. Just keep doing it. Have a full-blown conversation with yourself in the camera and be like, so how you doing? And you look at yourself and you're like, I'm good. How are you? And you just like totally, I just snorted laughing. That's it. Totally try it now. Try it now without even looking at yourself in the camera. Just try it and feel yourself getting hyped up. Okay. And you're going to go, oh my God. Oh my God. Remember that time? Oh my God. Just do it randomly. But remember, if you are very low today, if you're on a very, very low frequency today, you can't do this. You can't do it right away. I want to remind you that if you are on a very low and you're feeling bad and everything, feel sad today. Don't try to do this. This is not going to work for you. And you're going to probably think I'm a whack job and you're like, oh, I can't, this doesn't work. It's not going to work because you cannot jump from very low to really high frequency. Because what's happening is when you go like that, your brain waves go to gamma. Gamma brain waves are very high frequency brain waves. And you are literally shaking yourself up. I just told my husband I want a divorce, so not today. Oh my God, Chris. And this is where, when you're on a really high frequency, you bring it back to love. Because I could think about it. Right now, I'm on a really high frequency. And I could tell Chris, okay, well, hope you're going to be okay now. Or I can be like, I'm so sorry that you're going through it. Because that is, to say that to someone, that's insane. That's intense. And there's so many emotions going through that. So I can speak for a lot of us when I say that we are all sending you love. So you lower the frequency of it. And yeah, we're sending you virtual hugs. And Chris, you seem to be good, but even then we're sending you love. So if you are very low right now, it's not like, oh, Chris Cassie's negative. No, she's going through shit. And Chris is a really good friend of us, all of us. She's on our lives all the time. And even if she wasn't, even if she was a random person that came in, I want you to to understand that. I'm sad, but I'm done. I get that. Boundaries have been crossed, right? So just remember that, okay? To go back to the compassion frequency. So again, if you're really, really low, bring it to compassion, and then you could raise your frequency. So that I'm going to upload this on YouTube. Okay? And when you're really, really in the mood to like, I need to get hyped up and I need to be hyper, you're going to try this technique and you're going to raise it. Sandhya, is it good to share everything you feel, or is it better to keep some things to yourself? I think there's a balance. There's a balance. I used to be an oversharer. I still kind of am. I share a little bit, like a lot. But here's the thing. Some people have boundaries. I have boundaries for myself. I have boundaries of some people in my life. Like my boyfriend doesn't want me to share stuff about my daughter. She has boundaries. So I think there's a level of balance that you can find, whether you share certain things, and there's some things that you don't have to share everything. But people who overshare, I know that not everybody is like that, but I know a lot of people that share too much have problems with drugs and alcohol, either themselves or they have siblings or parents or friends or partners that are alcoholic, and then they overshare. So there's a balance. I think it depends on how it makes you and the other person feel. Exactly. Because some people you could be vulnerable with. Some people you could share a lot with. And then other people, not so much. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Wilo. So my YouTube is Tanya Beauty Coach. And I'm going to upload this. So for those of you guys who missed the high and low. And you know what's wild? I've been live for a little over an hour. And I feel like I've been live again. It feels like 3 hours I've been talking. Thank you so much. I overshare and I regret later. Yeah, this is when it comes to self boundaries. It does feel super late. So make a list of boundaries that you need for yourself. Try it out. Yeah, the stages of grief and divorce is tough. Love you, Chris. We're here for you. I find time is stopping for me at times. Same. Rachel, same. Time is making, thank you, Mark. Time is making no sense. Anybody else? Hi, Katie. Anybody else feels like time is weird? Like either it's really fast and I'm like, what the hell? It's nighttime? I thought it was this. Or sometimes I have clients and everything, and then I look at the time, I'm like, it's 1 p.m. It's like 6. It feels like 6 p.m. It feels like, or it's 6 o'clock and I feel like it's bedtime. And I'm like, what is happening? You're getting downloads. Nice. It's so strange. I thought it was Friday. It's only Tuesday. Time is weird. A month ago. Yeah, right? We're almost the end. I feel, though, that January went by really slow. I feel like we're March. But 2022 went... Oh, I can't snap with this. 2022 went by so fast. I was like, where did 2022 go? I don't know. No idea. What happened to 2022? I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I've been living in this area. Like 6 months ago, I was living. I'm like, wait a minute. It's not 6 months ago. I'm so lost. It's either freezing or lightning speed. Same. Weird, guys. I don't know. And my body has been feeling it. Like super feeling it. The music stopped. Oh, it's just starting again. Okay, I have a question for you. Do you guys notice that I play the same music every time? And is it annoying? Should I switch it up? What do you guys think? Do you think grief makes time stop? It does. That's a good, I think so, huh? Are we meditating today? No, we are not meditating today. We're going to meditate on Sunday. C5, and we're going to activate our third eye. Major activate. Like really, if your intuition is off these days, we're going to like, your intuition is going to be like, this is my daughter's mug, actually. It's my daughter's mug. I took it. I had a mug. I had a Gaia mug, and it has a big crack in it. And I'm like, man, if I'm on the live and I'm drinking and all of a sudden the mug cracks open and there's tea all over me, no, it's not going to happen. You too. It's just soft music. I don't even know where it's from. I put it on my phone. Could you please tell me how to know what I want and what I don't like? I'm a self-reflection coach, so I don't tell people what to do and how to think. You finally joined Gaia. Nice. Yeah, so unfortunately, I know some people ask me that. They're like, can you tell me what to do? Just tell me what to do. And I'm like, I can't. I'm not one of those coaches. I know some coaches will just tell you like it is, tell you what to do. I'll give some advice, but I was like, what do you think? Because you have the answers within. But sometimes I go on a rant. But that's why I do my lives. Because my lives, I get to say what I feel and what I believe. And you can pick and choose what resonates with you. You can be like, Tanya is crazy. I don't like what she says about vibrations. That's fine. And then you can say, Tanya, oh my God, somebody just asked me a question that might trigger a whole other freaking rant. How would you describe dimensions? Dimensionals? Dimensionals? I don't know what a dimensional is. Is that it? Is that something? Dimensions or dimensional beings? Should I Google dimensionals? I don't even know what that is. Dimensions. We need some guidance to help us know what we already know. Exactly. Only you know what you need. Exactly, Wonder Woman. I'm here for the ranting. Okay. Dimensional beings. Okay, so user 50. Dimensional beings. Can I tell you, I could describe more dimensions. I've seen things in my meditation, but guys, I have seen things in my meditation these days, and I don't know if it's my brain. And I drew some. I saw like at least 10 different beings in my meditations. 10 minimum. All different faces. And I drew them, but I'm not supposed to show them. I don't know why. It's just like, nope. So that's why I'm not really talking about it. Because there's a big knowing in me of it's not to be really talked about it. Do you think anywhere spirit guides? Do you know that I've never connected with spirit guides? I know a lot of people are like, you have spirit guides. I've never connected with my spirit guides. I see different shapes all around me when I meditate. Me too. Shadow man? What do you mean shadow man? Solar flares are high now. Yeah, I know, but I was like felt that I wasn't, it's hard. Anyway. What was I saying before? Hold on. Oh yeah, so spirit guides, I never did until yesterday. So I've seen really crazy things in my meditations, and I've heard things, and I've felt talking like I could hear, they're like clairvoyant, clairsentient, all this stuff. And I have never, the tall shadowy man your cat saw, I don't see shadow men. I don't see shadow men. That's not what I see. I see shadows, little small shadows. Sometimes they're bigger, and they're like that. This is what I see, like this. Okay, like see my shadow here, like that. The shadow behind, not my hand, but the shadow. I see that, but in the air, all the time. And sometimes they're white, and sometimes they're shadowy and dark, thick. And yesterday I saw like smoky, big around, like it was actually over there. I was looking and I was like, holy crap. And it's just like these shadowy different things. And my cat looks at them, but I don't know what they are. And I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, they're your spirit guides. Some people are, they're demons. Some people said those are angels. Some people said those are extraterrestrials. Some people are, those are dimensionals. Those are, nobody knows. Nobody knows. I would love to hear people say, I don't know either. I see them too, but I don't know either. It's funny because so many of us are sure what they are. Like none of us know. None of us, even if we see them. Even if you had this being right in front of you and said, I am a dimensional, I am a spirit guide. Your mind could be saying, that's a spirit guide. But we don't know. Do you know what I mean? I keep posting too early. Are the spirits around me or am I imagining? That's what it is. But I like that. The lady, what is it? The lady of the house. I love that question. Are there spirits around me or am I seeing things or is it my mind? I don't know. But it's okay. Do you know what I realize? We have a tendency to want to know facts. We want to know. That's why we have all these names for things. We're like, this is what it is. And it's your spirit guides and they're guiding you and telling you what to do. Or this is what it is. Or that's what it is. I'm like, do you know how uncomfortable it is to say, I don't know? I don't know. Gizmo, what's going on? Oh, my dog's so funny. He just looked at me like he got caught. Are you trying to lie on my sweater? Just his face. He's like, oh. Anyway, I'm telling you guys, it is harder to say, I don't know. We do try to rationalize. We want to know. Like, I want to know. But it's a belief. And a belief could be maybe. And I have to say, when somebody goes, I know for sure that's what it is. I do not live there. I am comfortable saying I don't know. I am very comfortable saying that. Because the more we know, the less is revealed to us. We all don't know. Yes, I love saying, I know that I don't know. That is one thing for sure. For a fact, I know that I don't know. And nobody knows. We all have these thoughts and that is a fact that this exists and this is what it is. And I'm like, really though? In the end, people don't like to say, what is it? I don't know. It's something. But is it that? Yeah, maybe. Is it your brain? Is it your brain playing tricks on you? Maybe. Is it like your mind has been watching these movies or something concocted? Maybe your past traumas, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's your ancestors, maybe reincarnations, maybe it's spirits, maybe it's people that have passed away. Maybe it's your aunt. You know, your aunt passed away. Maybe. And I am very comfortable in the maybe. This is my thought. So last night, my cat was lying beside me and I see these shadows like this, okay? See that? That's what I see. Like a shadow. It's like a dense smoke. So I'm looking at this thing and it's right beside, and I was like, and I kind of got a little scared because I was like, it was big. Usually I see little shadows. This was like really big. So I turned the light on to see if it was a reflection of something. And then my cat, my cat looks at it and he's lying like flopping and he's looking at it. I'm looking at it and I'm like, you see that? Like, what do we see? And I'm like, imagine, hear me out. Imagine there's another dimension Okay, there's another dimension of people that live all around me in this area. Like just another little dimension, just so close, like almost identical to this one, just but with different people, different things, and they see shadows, and it's me, I'm the shadow. And then when I'm walking, it's because we're all like, because we're low vibration, right? The earth vibrates at 7.8 hertz, which is a very low frequency. So our spirit is like high frequency spirit, whatever. But on earth, it's very fine to be low, because that's what we're vibrating at, low. So here we are walking around, and we're like these dense things that are floating around. But I can start seeing them because I'm meditating so much. It's like a channel, like on the radio, when you turn the channel and you go, and it goes, and then it turns into the next song. But you know, sometimes when you're driving, that's the video I made today. It's like you're driving and there's one frequency of the radio, and then you get to another frequency. And sometimes just from one place to the next, you tap into two different sounds, like a channel. But I don't think we're not channels. I don't see us as channels. I see our reality as a channel. So it's not us specifically that's a channel, is the reality that we are all in together is a channel. And then there's another reality that's another channel. And I somehow feel like I'm going into the other channel because I see things all around me all the time. I'm like, am I going into another channel of another whole reality around me? And I could kind of, but I'm not fully in that channel. Like I don't live in that channel. I'm on like CKUG or whatever around your, I'm on channel, you know, at Sirius FM, and they're on channel Sirius DW. And I'm going Sirius XM and coming back in. And so when I see it, I'm like, wait, what is that? And then I don't see them anymore. And I'm like, oh, I'm back on my Sirius XM. Do you get what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. I was saying this in my video, but that's what I kind of feel like. You're on Tanya Hertz. Energy cannot be destroyed. So what happens to our energy when we die? It has to go somewhere. Exactly. I don't know. I don't know, Mary. Again with the I don't know. I don't know. I do, Maya, I have a clear vision, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I think of this and I'm like, I wonder if that's what it is. Then I sit, and then my cat looks around and says, my cat says to me, Tanya, no, you're like, Tanya, now hold on a second, Tanya. If your cat's talking to you, you're seeing stuff. Now your cat's talking to you. It's not what I meant to say. My cat looks at whatever I'm looking at. And what I feel, I was like, what if it's spirits? What if, I was going to say what if the people that passed away are still, some of them are still living amongst us, and those are the spirits that I'm seeing? What if their soul and their spirit, some of them have like ascended and some of them are still around us, and when I look, I could see? Maybe, right? What if my dad's theory is right, and there's extraterrestrials that can come in and out of existence, and you can't even see them unless you have like an infrared light or whatever, and they can, they're so advanced that they can come like almost transparent. You know how the ships come and then they disappear and then they come, but their bodies can also do that. That's my dad's theory. What if everything is right? Yes. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you guys for joining my live and coming on this journey with me with all the drama and the stuff. It was fun. It was nice. Life is a game. We can't take it seriously. And the more we think life is a game. Oh, by the way, for those of you who compare yourself, don't forget to do what I told you. Try it. You don't have to do it if you don't feel like Tanya's crazy, but if you want to, try it. It can change your whole life with that shower, the dimensional shower thing. And for those of you who missed it, go on to Tanya Beauty Coach on YouTube, because I'm going to upload this whole craziness of a life. I'm going to do that as soon as I can. It takes a couple of hours though. All right? Okay, love you guys. See you. Bye.